Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Frame Live. My name is Dottie San Martin, and today we have Jay Nephew with us also. Hi, Jay.
Hey, Dottie. Hey, everybody. How you guys doing out there?
You know, Jay, here at Beyond the Frame, over the past few weeks, we have had the opportunity and the pleasure of visiting with centers that have reopened, and we've learned a little bit about what they're doing and how they're doing it, and some of the challenges and the ways that they're overcoming some of those challenges. And we have learned some really fantastic things that the customers are doing out there. And so today, we wanted to share a few of those things with the viewers, right, Jay?
Yeah, we've had some really good guests, and they have given us some of their ideas that they've created. And then we've also kind of taken some of things that we've heard and done our own little spin on them too. So, you know, everything comes full circle. When you share stuff, it really helps your fellow proprietor and it helps our industry because we're such a caring industry that we like to make sure other people can be successful also.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, like you said, if we can give one or two little nuggets here and you take and put your own spin on it, and then you come back and share that with us, and the next person puts a spin on it, then we really can create some really fantastic things. And that's the
Absolutely.
one thing that has really been exciting for me is we have so many centers that are doing so many things, and they're really treating this like they're opening their business for the first time, and that for
Yeah.
me is very, very exciting. But you know, you hit on something just a minute ago about, you know, we are such a social industry. And one of the things that has kind of been an obstacle is the fact that centers employees are wearing masks. And now some of the centers have even been mandated that their guests have to wear masks. And I know
Hmm.
you had a really good idea that either was shared with you or you had come up with to kind of do some fun things with face masks.
Yeah, I did. Well, I like there. I saw somebody wearing a mask that had like a big smile on it, you know, the smile graphic. And I thought, wouldn't it be cute if you could take just the smile part and then insert behind the smile letters so that they look like teeth? And I thought you could come up with some really cool ones. You could just do X's across, or you could do splits happen, you know, like two sets of teeth and keep the SPL and the ITS apart so it looks like they have a gap in their teeth. You could do one that says strike. I mean, you could do one with your business name in there. So it could make the smile also have some other meaning to it. You know, and Dottie, you also, when we talked about masks originally, I think on the blog post is actually where you put this. You said don't let the mask be an excuse for your employees not to smile or not to invoke warm feelings to the customer because it's
Absolutely.
so right. It's so easy to be behind that mask. Your eyes say a lot with it. If you are truly smiling, you get those wrinkles at the edge of your eyes that, well, some of us have those more than others. We'll just leave that alone. But, you know, if you can tell a natural smile from a fake smile, our body language gives that away. So adding your own little fun to the front of the mask kind of helps with that interaction too.
That's right. And you know, we encourage centers to have a contest with your employees. Let their personality come out in that mask. You know, having just a generic mask is good, and especially if you encourage your employees to make sure that they're, you know, speaking loud enough so the customer hears them, and that their body language is letting the customer know that they're smiling. And you know, I'm constantly going through websites and looking at different you know, bowling centers, and I happened upon we had our guest last at the last show was Myrtle Beach Bowl, and they had some pictures of their employees that had masks on, and I commented it's very obvious those employees were smiling. So, but yeah, have a contest and encourage your staff members to let their personality come out by creating a mask that represents who they are. That's kind of a fun way because not all employees like wearing masks. So that's one of the things that we've seen that kind of, you know, spices it up a little bit. So, you know, and the other thing is the one of the challenges that we've had is who is that customer that's going to come back first, and what can we do to start getting customers back in the door. And Jay, I think that it's been very clear to us that our competitive bowler is the first one, that bowler, they're the ones that want to come back first because they already know who we are. They know, our procedures and how good we take care of our facilities. And they're ready to come back. They've got
Yeah.
their own equipment. They're ready to come back. They feel safe. They feel secure. And, they're ready to come back. And I know we've had several customers share with us different things that they've done to draw those competitive bowlers in. Can you share a couple of those?
Yeah, well, the first thing that I see locally, I'm in Houston, Texas, so southern Texas. But what I see on social media from my friends around the country is the same. The places that can open. Sorry, Pat Malcuria, I know you guys can't open in New York State yet, and we're hoping that you get to open very shortly. Because, look, we want you open. We want our industry to survive. But the ones that have opened, right? You said competitive, traditional players are the ones coming back in the door. We've heard that from everywhere from Washington to Florida, all the way across the country for the ones that can open. For sure, that revenue is driving that customers driving the revenue right now. So what I've seen is that proprietors are capitalizing on this. Some of them haven't started their leagues yet. So what are they doing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, night at 7 o'clock, waiting for the 6 open play bowlers to come in the door? No, they're not waiting for that. They've started things that are attractive to the competitive player or the traditional player, whether it be a scratch sweeper, a handicap sweeper, a fun type sweeper. So you can do that yourself. Midweek sweepers, we call them. And if you have the Best X system and Best X Ultimate, you have 30 games available to play there. You can create any kind of event that's going to attract any level of player, believe it or not. So
And Jay, that's really interesting that you say that because they're again at Myrtle Beach Bowl, they do have some midweek sweepers. And one of the things that I found quite interesting about that is you might be thinking that those sweepers are going to be uh, are going to draw that competitive bowler, but that they're actually drawing in even new faces that they haven't seen before. So it's a great way to introduce somebody that's not necessarily a competitive bowler yet into, and draw them kind of into that competitive aspect of bowling. The other thing I've also seen, which is very interesting, are flex leagues, to
Yeah, I
where
like this flex league concept a lot.
absolutely. And, there's been some centers that have been doing it for a while. But the nice thing about a flex league is, you can have a merchandise that you can give them. And a lot of times it is equipment. And so this is a great opportunity. Many of our customers that are social bowlers perhaps are going to want to start to get their own equipment. And these flex leagues that make it very convenient for customers to come in and compete and get a taste of that. It's also a great opportunity to put equipment in their hands.
Mm.
We all know that if you've got your own equipment, you feel very comfortable about it, you're going to come in more often. So
Yeah.
another thing that I've seen also out there. So the competitive, they're coming in, but there has been a challenge with groups. Obviously, we have restrictions on us depending on what state you're in and what your guidelines are. But, we're at 50% capacity. We have to keep a distance between. And so there's a lot of different things that go into the equation to be able to accommodate groups. And like with birthday parties, for example, most centers have always had their birthday parties as, minimum of 8 or minimum of 10. So we've started to see centers have a lot of success by offering, I like to call it fun size parties. So smaller parties for perhaps, just the immediate family. Again, you got to start somewhere, and baby steps turn into giant leaps. So if you can start having fun parties and you can, get to capacity with these fun parties that are very attractive, very affordable, then that is a solution too for some of these larger groups to replace some of those groups. And I know, Jay, you have seen some things along the way as well. I know we have, I can't remember if it was you I was chatting with or perhaps someone else about, setting up some summer camps. and having different areas of your bowling center. So you're not putting everybody on the lanes, but you rotate around to different areas with different activities.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about having a larger center, or even just a standard size center, is that you can social distance quite easily within that facility, especially if you're only open for one activity. For example, if you're going to do summer camps for the kids during the week, it's quite easy for you to say, I'm only going to have a maximum of 20. We're going to break up into groups of 3. If you have 3 from the same household, you can be together, things like that. And then space them out, Dottie, like you said, lane 1 and 2, they're going to do this. Lane 9 and 10, they're going to do this, etc. In the lounge, they're going to do this because we're not opening the lounge. You know, you have a lot of room to really make these spaces that are safe and far enough apart, and make sure that air is on full blast and your fans are going, so you're rotating that air through. I don't know of a parent that wouldn't appreciate having a day or two where they feel safe dropping their children off, and the kids get away from the parents. The parents get, maybe you do open the bar for the parents only. That's a separate area.
And this is also a great opportunity to provide your party hostess some hours, because this is a perfect way to bring them back into the center, and they can establish that relationship with those children, and it just really does provide some good opportunities. And speaking of birthday party hostesses, I saw something the other day that I thought was really cool. It was a very unhappy birthday, and this was from Bowl and Barrel, and I thought it was just really a cute way of going back and allowing those people that missed birthdays during the times that the centers were closed. I believe they're getting 1 hour of bowling, I believe is what it was. And I thought, well, you know, that's just really clever to allow them to come in and celebrate their birthday, and you know, kind of go back and make and erase that memory and replace it with something that's a lot more fun.
And you know what that reminds me of that you're bringing up is the blog post you did about the rewind parties and the material there.
Yes.
Because the rewind parties is the same thing. Maybe you had, it could be a graduation, it could be a birthday, it could be just any old special event that you had that you really didn't have because of the, you know, the shutdown or whatnot. Visit that idea and say, we're going to celebrate it now. I know it may have happened a month or 2 months ago. We're going to have that party now with these 10 people, or, you know, whatever you want to do. But a rewind party is a great way to tell people it's okay to go back and now let's celebrate those moments.
Absolutely. And, you know, incidentally, Jay, on that blog post, there was also some free material to get started with that right away. So
wait, isn't there free material on every blog post? The blog is full of free material. By the way, if you're not a member of the blog, Dottie, tell them about it, because you have to. It's passive. Absolutely. You're there. Go for it.
Thanks. So the blog, Best Extras, is a private blog by invitation only, and we have opened it up to anyone that wants to participate.
So you're invited. That's the key.
Absolutely. This is my personal invitation to join, and all you have to do is send an email to bestextras at QubicaAMF.com and just say, I want to join the blog. Leave us your name, your center name, and your email address, and we'll send you your own private invitation.
Yes, so and just so you know, that is BESXTRAS. It's not the whole word extras. We kind of were a little clever with that. So BESXTRAS at QubicaAMF.com.
Absolutely.
We should put it on the screen, but you're going to get it. You can rewind that.
Yes, absolutely. If not, leave us your name in the chat and we'll be happy to send you one. And you know, this sparked another idea, and this too I actually witnessed this. I was walking past Bowl and Barrel the other day, and it caught my eye that somebody was standing at their window taking a picture. And so, of course, I had to stop and be nosy and see what was going on. Well, they were looking at the sign on the outside window, and it said, "We're back with the cleanest balls in San Antonio."
I love that.
Followed by, "Okay, get your mind out of the gutter."
Yes.
And there was this young group gathered around that sign. I watched, they took a picture, and then they're doing this number. So what wonderful free advertising by being so clever. So hats off to Bowl and Barrel.
A
Uh,
plus. Way to go, marketing
absolutely.
group.
Absolutely. Anytime we can get authentic um, advertising, it's so much better than anything that you could orchestrate. And that's exactly what they did. They were simply clever. It was a short, sweet message, and this young crowd thought it was cute. They texted it or Facebooked it or Snapchatted, whatever they did with it, but they obviously shared it with someone. And when we can get that type of endorsement, it's fantastic. So I thought that was really, really clever.
Hey, speaking of balls, right? Like the bowling balls,
Uh-huh.
I love this idea that came up. I think I'm pretty sure our friends over at Kingston Lanes, Mr. John McCarthy, was telling us about this when we had him on the show, on the webinar actually. And he had mentioned that they had, social distance their tables, they had quite enough room to do that. But he was saying that the bowling bags are on during a competitive night, like a league night or a tournament. The bowling bags are everywhere. Like, how many times have you tripped over a bowling bag before?
Absolutely.
I can't count, right? I mean, terrible. But what they do, and I've seen this done at like the Lucy tournament, because they put tape down on the concourse an area where the balls can only be in that area. So he kind of took that idea and said, I made these gigantic squares where one table used to be, because we took one out that didn't need to be there, and that we marked it for equipment only. So everybody leaves their equipment there in that spot, and it leaves the floor open for walkthrough. And I love that idea, but I love to take it and kick it up a notch. So, maybe not right this moment, because we're still kind of in the pandemic stage-ish, where we're not back to normal or levels of business that we've seen in a while. But when you do start to return, imagine keeping that philosophy there so that your concourse is, a little bit more, has a lot better flow. But what if you were to sell branding on that space? Even if you don't sell it, or you give it away to some of your really good partners, like, your food people or your liquor people. I don't know. There's a lot of ideas you can do with that. And I tell you what, carpet decals are stupid cheap to produce now. So, 5 years ago, it would have cost you an arm and a leg. Today, it's not going to cost you anything to do that. So I really love that idea. Thank you to John for bringing that up on our webinar.
Yes, and Jay, I also made a note of that when I was listening to the webinar, because I thought that was just a great. First of all, it gets rid of the clutter, and that's really good in itself. But I thought that was a brilliant idea. And speaking of floor stickers, another thing that I heard was, to try to make sure that people are abiding by and looking down and seeing the sticker and realizing that they're supposed to be standing on the sticker instead of all standing around the sticker. I heard, and it was on one of the webinars, that you can number those stickers, and then randomly the center can say, whoever is on sticker number whatever wins a prize. And so that just adds one more layer of fun to their entertainment experience, but it's also making them be mindful and looking down at that sticker,
Yeah.
and realizing, oh, wait, I was, even if they're not on a sticker, they realize that, hey, they need to be looking at those stickers and paying attention to them. So
That's the
I thought,
Pavlov theory, right? Behavior reward. You reward the behaviors you want to see. So yeah, I like that too.
absolutely. And Jay, I know we are limited to 20 minutes, but I mean, you and I
Well, we could be
have
on here a
so
day,
many
right?
we have so many things that people have brought to us that we want to share. And so perhaps this is just, the first of several shows that we do this. But another thing that I saw, and this I've seen in other industries, restaurant industries, for example, but when, people don't want to have to touch things, they don't want to have to pick something up and look at it, or a menu, for example. And so it's so cool that the iPhones. I don't know about the other brands. I'm an iPhone user, so but you can put QR codes on some of your stationary marketing material, and the customer can simply come up and scan that. Just hold their phone up with the camera up, and it takes them right to whatever that message is you're trying to get out. So, for example, your menu in your restaurant, your specials that you have going on, your birthday party flyer. You could have QR codes on all of your marketing material that you have on display, and the customer can simply, not have to touch anything. It's touch
Right.
free.
I'll tell you what, Dottie, that works on any phone because it's not proprietary to iPhone. What it is it's a command that reads and says, do this. So whether it's open an email to this email address or go to this web page. And so that's what people are doing. They're putting their menu digitally on a certain, hidden web page, and they link that QR to that page and allow people to do that. So yeah, if you have the ability to do that, for sure. We were in a restaurant just a few weeks ago, walked in, sat down, they gave us one paper that was there and it said, scan the code to see the menu. And it was just like, oh, and it worked beautifully. So I like that idea also.
Absolutely. And, to kind of tag on to that, I was just in a restaurant and they had a table tent. So thinking, in centers, you could put acrylic table tents on your table with a QR code, as part of the advertising, and the customer at their convenience could just scan it. So it's a great way to advertise. It's, touch free. So think about it. If you've not been doing it, I thought that was a really brilliant way to do that. So Jay, we're actually needing to kind of wrap here a little bit. But one of the things that that I wanted to remind our viewers of is, of course, QubicaAMF is, this Beyond the Frame is here for you. So if you have something that you're doing that's very clever, we encourage you to leave us a comment, even if you're viewing this, the recorded version of this show, and you have something that you are doing that you feel could help others. We certainly encourage you to leave that in the comments, because this is how we're going to get through this pandemic. We have said all along that we are all in this together, and this is a perfect opportunity of being able to share things that are working for you, or to share challenges that you've had and how you've overcome them. That's what we're all about.
Yeah, and Dottie, I'm going to add on to that. A fair number of you do watch us live, and we appreciate that because we get to interact with you over here, right? I'm looking at my comments on the side, but we get hundreds of views after the fact. So if you're one of those people who are watching us after the fact, still leave your comments. We want to host the show with people. We're always looking for guests that are interesting and could be possible, inspiration. I'm going to say that's the best way to say it for us. Inspiration for us and for our audience and for our other proprietors and owners and operators. So if you leave that comment there and we read it, we will like it. We will maybe comment back to you, and we may ask you to be on the show too. And the other thing is, if you just need help with any of these things because it's not your forte, drop us a line. Dottie and I got you covered. Just V as in Victor, MM at QubicaAMF.com. Tell us what you need help with. We've probably got a program for it. We'll help you out. No worries. Back to you, Dottie.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that, Jay. And yeah, absolutely. We love, as you can see, Jay and I can bounce around different things, and, he adds this and I add that, but we do have many great programs that we can help you with if you just need a little boost. We're here. The other thing I want to bring to everybody's attention is we have another webinar coming up. It is going to be on July the 22nd, and it's going to be Not Falling Behind, Prepping for Your Fall Calendar. And we're going to have a panel of some very proactive proprietors and talk to them about what they're doing to kind of prepare their center for the fall and how they're going to do things with this new norm in place. So it's something you won't want to miss out on. It's going to be on Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, and you can register at the QubicaAMF Customer Resource Center. And next week, my colleague Jay is going to have the privilege of having Brian Kane, a colleague and a center proprietor, on the show, and he's going to share his journey of reopening his center. So I look forward to that myself, and make sure that you make plans to tune into the live show next Thursday with Jay. So, as we get ready to wrap this up, we always like to find the hope and we always like to find the silver lining. And the one thing I have to say after having this show today, Jay, I know that you and I are on the same page on this. I have seen so much creativity, so much effort be put into having programs and overcoming obstacles and the creativeness that's flying around right now in centers. And as I said earlier, centers are just taking it as if they have opened their centers for the very first time, and they're being so aggressive with marketing and so creative with the programs they're putting together. And if there's one thing I hope that we take away from the pandemic, it's this: let's continue that. Let's keep that momentum going, and let's continue to think outside the box, or in this case, think beyond that frame, and let's keep that momentum going. Jay, anything that you would like to add to that?
Well, no, that really encapsulates it all. I just want to thank everybody for their input, for their patience, and remember, necessity is the mother of invention. I think that was a Benjamin Franklin statement or something. And so it's no wonder that we've had to do these things. It's no wonder we've created these things because we've had to, right? And I have no doubt that no matter what the future holds for us, that we are going to persevere because we have a lot of smart people, a lot of clever people, and we have very, very passionate people in this industry. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Well, on behalf of QubicaAMF and myself and Jay, we just want to thank you so much for tuning in, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Goodbye, everyone.